I've never spent a single dollar promoting my books on Amazon, and everything I've earned over there came from content I make for free on TikTok and Instagram. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how that works, and I'm gonna show you the 3 types of content I make every single day with examples so you can see the actual thing you need to go and do. I'm Dave, I'm a KDP strategist. I've been doing this for over 3 years now with the organic funnel method, and I run this channel plus a free school community where we go a lot deeper on all of it. So let's start with the reason I don't use ads at all, because that decision is where the whole strategy comes from. The first thing you gotta understand about Amazon ads is that the money is only half the problem. The obvious advantage of content is that you don't have to put anything in upfront, and that alone is huge. With ads, you're spending money without knowing whether you're gonna get anything back. And if you're starting out, your budget is small, which means the data you get back isn't even clear because you never spent enough to actually test anything properly. Now, here's the part almost nobody mentions. Even when those few dollars do bring something back, you get paid about 2 months later, because that's how Amazon royalties work. The ads bill you immediately, so you're floating that cost out of your own pocket for 2 months before you see a single cent of it come back. And that changes what you're allowed to do. You can't just decide to put everything you have behind one book and see what happens, because you'd be spending money now against money that arrives in 60 days. When you're at the beginning, that's not a small disadvantage. That's the whole thing. And even if you had the cash sitting there to float, there's a second problem with running ads on a brand new book, and this one has nothing to do with your budget. When you publish a book today, you're not showing up on an empty shelf. You are competing with books that have been sitting there for years, and most of them have far more reviews than you do. Now, ads are supposed to solve exactly that. That's the whole promise. You got no sales and no reviews, and the ad puts you at the top of the search results anyway. So let's walk through what actually happens from the buyer side. Somebody searches, your book shows up first, and if your cover and your title are good, they click on it and take a look. That part works. But then their eye goes to the rating line, and there's nothing there. No reviews, no stars, nothing. And they go straight back to the search page. You just paid for the click. And the same goes to the second result, the one sitting right underneath yours, the one that isn't sponsored and has hundreds or thousands of positive reviews on it. You paid to send that person to your page, and you paid to lose them. So my honest advice is to only start running ads once your book has at least a few hundred reviews with an average above 4.3. And being specific on purpose there, because 4.3 is a real threshold. Above 4.3, Amazon displays your rating as 4.5 stars. So that 5th star fills in halfway. At 4.2, it displays as 4 stars flat. And when somebody sees 4.5 stars, something happens in their head without them thinking about it, and they just assume it's a good product. 4 stars doesn't do that. Now, there's an entire industry built around getting those reviews fast, and I want to talk about it because it's the quickest way I know to lose your account. Somebody figured out a way around the review problem, and on paper, it actually looks legitimate. Here's how these services work. You don't swap reviews directly with a specific person, because that would be an obvious violation. Instead, you review other people's books, you earn points for doing it, and then you spend those points to get reviews on your own book from people you've never interacted with. And in theory, that sits inside Amazon's guidelines because there's no direct exchange happening. The first problem is that your competitors are on the same service. They need points too, and they earn them by reviewing books, and one of the books they can review is yours. Nothing stops them writing that review with AI, and nothing stops them leaving you 1 star on purpose to push down somebody in their own niche, which could easily be you. So you can end up with fake negative reviews on a book you spent months building. But the bigger problem is Amazon. Amazon detects this as manipulated reviews, and accounts get closed over it. There are a lot of stories on Reddit from people this happened to, and the reason it's detectable is that most of those reviews are written with AI in a pattern that's honestly pretty obvious. Once enough of them pile up on your listing, Amazon flags the account as one that's buying reviews, and that's a really bad place to be after you spend years building it. And if you're wondering why these services get recommended constantly, it's affiliate links. The person telling you to use it earns money every single time somebody signs up through them and starts paying. So when I add all of it up for somebody who's just starting, ads are off the table completely, even though almost every YouTuber in this space will tell you it's the only way to make it on KDP. When I started, I couldn't afford them anyway, so I had to go find another way to sell books. And here's the part that surprised me. I stayed on that other way even now that I could easily pay for ads, because creating content turned out to be more effective at actually selling books than Amazon ads, which have gotten expensive and which do very little when they're used wrong. But the real reason content-based ads has nothing to do with money, and it's something almost nobody in this space says out loud. When you sell a book only on Amazon, using only Amazon's own tools, you're talking to a much smaller group of people than you think. Think about it from the customer side one more time. Somebody has a problem and they want a solution to it. Are they gonna open Amazon and search for a book about it? Probably not. Amazon is where you go when you already know there's a specific physical product that solves your problem. You need a thing, you go, you buy the thing, and that's what 99% of Amazon use actually looks like. But when what you need is knowledge, when it's something you need to understand rather than something you need to own, you go to Google or you go to Reddit, or you're scrolling social media. Only a tiny slice of people with a problem ever go to Amazon looking for the answer in book form, and I'd say comfortably that it's under 1% of them. Now flip that around, because this is the whole opportunity. On social media, your content goes out and finds the people who have the problem your book solves automatically, without you targeting anything. They never had to search for a book. They never had to reach that search page where they have bounced to somebody else's result anyway. They were just scrolling and your book showed up in front of them at the moment it was relevant. Which brings up the question I get constantly, which is what happens if your book doesn't solve a problem? And I think that's almost always wrong. Every book solves a problem, including the ones that look like they don't. When I say problem, I'm not only talking about high content books. There are low content books that solve very real problems, and my couples book is one of them. It's an activity book for couples, and what makes it work is one specific choice. There are fewer than 50 challenges in it, chosen really carefully, and every challenge gets 2 full pages instead of 1 line on a list. The last page holds a custom illustration, the title of the challenge, the date, the place, a rating for how the experience actually went, and space for personal notes. And on the right page, there's a photo of the experience. That turns it into something completely different from an activity book. It becomes a memory album where the things to do are already picked out for you, which is also why it works so well as a gift. And the problem it solves is specific. It's the boredom that shows up in a couple after a few months together. Once that initial excitement wears off and every weekend turns into Netflix on the couch, going shopping, going to a restaurant. There's so much more to do than that, and the whole book exists to push a couple into actually going and doing it. And this isn't a non-fiction only strategy either, because fiction solves problems too. It's less obvious, and most people writing fiction have never thought about it this way, but if you write a story or you write poetry, you're writing for a specific person who wants to feel a specific thing. Wanting to feel something is a problem. So if somebody feels alone and you're written a book about loneliness and your content communicates that emotion, you're reaching exactly the right people. You're solving the problem of wanting a book that understands what they're going through, so you know who you're talking to. The next question is how you get them to stop scrolling long enough to hear you. The hook is the single most important part of any piece of content you will ever make. It's the thing that stops the scroll. Somebody scrolling TikTok or scrolling the Reels on Instagram needs a reason for their attention to get caught, a reason to stop moving and watch what you made. And that reason is almost always the first 3 seconds. Whatever happens in someone's head in those 3 seconds decides everything that comes after it. Writing good hooks isn't easy, and I want you to be okay with that, because this is exactly exactly where your time should go. Out of everything involved in making content, the hook is the thing I tell you to spend the most time on by a long way. And because of that, I put together a free interactive file with 50 hooks inside it. Each one gives you the template of the hook and then an example underneath showing you how to actually apply it. So you're not sitting there staring at a blank screen trying to invent something from nothing every single day. You got a starting point instead. It's the first link in the description, it's completely free, go grab it and keep it. Now let's get into the content itself, because there's one principle you have to accept first, and it's gonna sound like the opposite of what I should be telling you. All of your effort goes into the book and almost none of it goes into the content. I know exactly how that sounds coming from somebody who's about to explain how to sell through content, but your book has to be excellent, which means you're not publishing one a month and you're not racing anybody. You're giving each book the time it genuinely needs to be as good as you can possibly make it. And the reason for that is simple. The content is built entirely on the book. Everything you're gonna film, everything you're gonna photograph, everything you post is just the book itself. So the book is the protagonist here. The book is the thing that has to be perfect, and the content doesn't. When you do make the content, be as authentic as you possibly can. Think like a customer who found a book they love and is passing it along to people who might want it too. That's the tone you're going for, and that's the tone that actually sells. Now, I've tested every type of content there is, and 3 of them work. They work the same on TikTok and on Instagram. So you're making one thing and posting it in 2 places. And what I really want you to notice as I go through them is that each one takes under 10 minutes to make. That's not a small detail, that's the entire point. You're gonna be posting this every day. And the reason daily matters so much is that your content first goes out to a small test group, just a few hundred views. And based on how those people respond, the algorithm on both platforms decides whether to push it further and show it to more people. So what you want is a lot of chances over time. You want to be rolling the dice every single day with content that's authentic, simple, and takes under 10 minutes, because that's the only version of this you can actually keep doing for years. Let's start with the first type, which is the one most people already picture when they think about promoting a book. The first type is video, and these are about as simple as content gets. You're showing the inside of your book, and that's really it, which is another reason the book itself has to look good, it has to be formatted properly, and has to have clear titles on the pages, because those pages are the content. There's more than one way to do this, and the most common one is the flip through, where you slowly turn the pages and show the cover at the end with a text hook sitting at the top of the screen the whole time. The other version is action-based, and this one works really well for low content books or for any book where there's actually something to do inside it. You do the thing, you fill in a page, you write the sentences, you complete a challenge, and the act of completing the book becomes the hook all by itself, because people want to see how it turns out. And there's one detail in all of this that isn't an accident, which is that the title of the book is printed at the top of the pages. That's a deliberate choice. When you're showing a book, you want people to be able to catch the title immediately so they can go search for it on Amazon. So if you've got 2 jobs running at the same time, you're holding attention as long as you possibly can through the hook and through whatever you're doing on camera, and you're keeping that title visible while you do it. The second type is photos on a screen. On Instagram, they're called carousels. On TikTok, they're called slideshows, and they're generally the same thing. So you make one and post it on both platforms. They're just images, which means you can build them in Canva or any design tools you like, or you can just shoot them with your phone. With high content books especially, I use a technique where I underline and highlight the parts I want the eye to land on. You pick the lines that carry the most emotion, the ones that are actually gonna land on somebody, and the highlight pulls their attention straight to those words instead of leaving them to scan a full page and find nothing. The big advantage of this format is that you can show more than one book at a time, which means you can place your own book inside a recommendation of other books, including ones that are far more famous than yours. Say you're recommending 3 books for getting through a hard time. Two of them are better known and have a lot more reviews, and yours is sitting there in the middle. I wouldn't do it with too many books at once, but 3 works really well. It has to read as a sincere recommendation though, the kind of thing you send to a friend, and that's where the book itself matters all over again. The cover has to look professional, and the title has to look professional, meaning it reads like a title somebody actually chose, and not like 20 keywords stacked on top of each other. It should look like a book you'd find on a shelf in a bookstore. The third type is a single photo. One image on Instagram or on TikTok where nothing moves, nothing happens, and there's nothing for anybody to swipe through. You might be wondering what really changes compared to a carousel, and the answer is that everything changes because there's nowhere for that person to go except into the page itself. And here's why that's so interesting. If you can catch somebody's attention on a page of your book and get them to actually read it, that person is spending more seconds on your content. And watch time, meaning how long somebody stays with what you posted, is the thing both platforms value more than anything else. A page that somebody reads all the way through buys you more of that than almost anything you could film. To get them reading it, you gotta be smart about it. You need a text hook on the image that grabs them and tells them why this particular page is worth their time. And the title of the book goes at the top again, and it's fundamental here, because once somebody has read a page of your book, the very next thing they want is to know what it's called. Then you make the important parts obvious. A lot of people aren't gonna read the whole page, they just wanna know which lines you think matter. So you underline and you highlight the ones you want them to land on. Choose them carefully because the right line makes somebody feel smart or makes them feel something they weren't expecting. What you're really doing with a single photo is getting one page to carry the same emotion the entire book carries. So those are 3 formats. I make them every single day, they cost me nothing to make, and they're the reason my books sell at all. If you want to go deeper on this than what fits inside a video, I got a guide called Content Marketing for Self-Publishers. It covers Instagram and TikTok in full detail, all of it, and I keep it updated, so every month that passes I'm adding new things to it. You'll find it linked in the description. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with from all of this, it's that you don't need money to start selling books. What you need is a book that solves a real problem for a specific person, and then you need to go put that book in front of them where they already are, which is on their phone, and not on a search page they were never gonna visit. That's the whole shift. Amazon isn't the place where you find your buyers, it's the place where your buyers check out. And once you actually believe that, ads stop looking like the only road and start looking like one option out of many, and honestly not the best one when you're starting. The people who make this work aren't the ones with the biggest budget, they're the ones posting every day while everybody else waits until they can afford to advertise. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end of this one, that genuinely means a lot to me. I'll see you in the next one.